All right, we here, man. Man Up Monday, the podcast, first official installment. Let's give a little background. A little bit over a year ago, I conceptualized Man Up Monday. Now, maybe there's somebody out there in the world who can tell you, well, I was doing something and I called it Man Up Monday.
Right.
Oh, all right. I'm not saying you didn't do it, but what I'm saying is our concept. Of course, do a show every Monday, Machete Monday, and I rebranded it for a month for a specific purpose, to really impart some much needed information into the minds of men out there, to our fellow brothers out there who need to pick up some certain slack in the community, and things of that nature. You know, and I did it for about a month, and then I went back to regularly scheduled program. So the spirit been on me to kind of bring this back out in a podcast format. I got my brother here who's very well informed, um, and we're bringing it back now. So Man Up Monday is back in the form of a podcast. We're coming at you every Monday, right? And we're gonna be tackling the important topics of manhood, which I believe is being under and misrepresented right now in the social sphere. Grossly misrepresented. It's a lot of misrepresentation. We may utilize some of that terminology, alpha male, beta male. Have you heard of some of these other terms like omega male? Have you heard of
Sigma male.
Sigma, all this stuff?
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, we'll talk about it. We'll probably get to it.
We'll dive into that.
We'll dive into that. They've made this thing so much more complex.
Yeah, and it's crazy, right? Because we got the cords going up to the mic. We got the red pill and the blue pill.
Yeah, that's true. We got the red and the blue. Well, let's unpack the pills first.
Okay.
So tell us about these different pills and what they mean. I know there's this exploding thing that's called the Manosphere.
Right.
Right. And I know that I'm familiar with a woman who refers to herself as the pink pill.
Right.
I know I watch Matrix, red pill, blue pill. I know twin brothers, powerful and informed brothers, red pill and blue pill.
Right.
But what are these pills in this context, in this corner of YouTube?
Right. And so you referenced the Matrix, and the Matrix is really where they get these concepts from as far as the red pill and the blue pill goes. The red pill is more geared towards, the MGTOW,
Okay, men going their own way.
Yeah, men going their own way movement is really where it all stemmed from. They took the terminology out of the Matrix as far as the option. Of
You could choose one of the
choose one or the other. The red pill being the one in which you are awakened, sort of say.
Yeah.
You're taken out of the Matrix and you're able to see things with a more clear and precise, point of view of things. You see what I'm saying? Then the blue pill is the one who is what you would call the simp enforcer. So the red pill is the guy who becomes, more keen to female nature, sort of say.
Okay.
Right? Supposedly.
Right?
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
According to, the understanding and doctrine of those who
those pundits
are the founders of the MGTOW movement.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly. So you got that, and then you got the blue pills who are the counters. Right, which are those who are stuck in the Matrix and are going to be who you consider like the simp enforcers, right? And those who continue the propaganda that modern society would have a man kind of simp for a chick and give all his power over to the chick.
Give not thy power unto a woman, like the scriptures.
Exactly. So that's really, the gist of the red and blue pill,
Okay.
And, for dummies, like
but,
so to say.
But you have enlightened me to several other pills that exist.
Right.
I heard there's a purple one.
Right.
Is there a burgundy?
So we got the burgundy.
I'm wearing the burgundy.
We got we got the burgundy pill. We got the purple pill.
Okay.
So and the burgundy and the purple kind of go hand in hand with each other. There's something that actually, I heard it first from my big brother. His name Dap. You know what I mean? Heru, in the Apocalypse on Instagram. He really well informed too. You know what I mean? He's starting to get a lot of traction in that sphere of YouTube. You know what I mean? But the purple pill is like the guy who, still, which is, I would say, most Hebrew Israelites, should operate within that realm of purple pill. Unless you just you just trying not to get married, but you want to deal with women, you know what I mean, to a degree, you know what I mean, then you can be red pill. But if you're gonna have a family, you know what I mean, you're gonna have, kids, and you're gonna have probably multiple families, right? All of those things, I would say the purple pill makes more sense, or the maroon pill, whichever one you want to call it, makes more sense because it's a mixture, it's a merging of, the red pill, having an understanding, keeping a certain frame with your woman, you know what I mean, and never letting it get misconstrued as far as who the leader is within the relationship, but also still have certain levels of affection that you're able to show, which the simp displays more so exactly
than the red pill.
You see, the red pill is more cold, I would say, towards the women, and kind of really jaded. I would say the red pill kind of make you kind of jaded. Whereas when you're in the purple pill space, you can, have a perfect balance between always being, firm and, dominant in a relationship, but nevertheless displaying the affection that a woman needs. So that's the purple pill. And then, last but not least is the black pill, right? Which is, I would say that's a video in itself. The black pill is, is the ones who, you said incels, which is, I'm pretty sure.
Star said that. That's where I got that.
Okay,
Star said that
cool.
the incels were born from the black pill, or he alluded to something like that the other day when he was talking about incels.
I would have to see the video.
Okay.
That insinuated that for him. To understand his point a little better, I guess I'd say about that. But as far as I know, the black pill are the ones who, I guess you would say, have become sort of like the masters of their reality, sort of say, in regards to, but I guess you say transcending all of the bullshit that's going on and the bickering that's going on between red pill, blue pill, simp, alpha, beta, male, all this divester, woo, all these different facets of, intergender relations.
Okay.
Right, they've kind of transcended that and looking on the outside, trying to figure out, okay, what's the best approach to fixing all of this?
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Okay. Let's look at this from a more pragmatic, more practical, more problem-solving, solution-based point of view.
Solution-based.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is why I say, I would be more geared toward purple and black. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, which makes sense.
More than any other thing.
Because we're looking for solutions.
Exactly.
Because when I am introduced to this information, I can look through our YouTube. All I see is problems. Women are this.
Right.
Men are this.
Finger pointing.
Finger pointing is like, all right, cool. Well, how do we fix it? Do we fix it through just becoming aware that there are certain mentalities that exist with women? Or do we fix it through, because, I just believe we have to plant certain seeds in people's minds.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I was informed about something. I'm not going to go too much into it, but, a young lady recently informed, me that a conversation she had with me and Hassan stopped her from dealing with a particular dude who she elsewise would have dealt with. Right? Okay. And I had no idea. This was months, like a long time ago. She just recently told that to me. Just with our voices ringing in her mind going into the situation, she was able to remove herself from the situation. Like you said, all praise to the Most High, because that's bad news, the way she was getting ready to go. Right. So I would rather implant, important ideals, values in people's mind to help them in making their maneuvers, instead of just going, well, yeah, everything's bad, so, just, I don't even know, it's just bad, man. Yeah. So, but go out there, because what I see from certain people, it's like, it's bad, go out there knowing it's bad, but still go out there. But then, like, what do I do when I get out there? Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Because some of these dudes, like it's just so crazy, and we got to understand, like we was talking about earlier, we living in a time like the ain't shit generation. We living in the ain't shit generation so much to the point where it's like, Like
it's multiplying.
It's multiplying, but like this Derek Jackson situation,
Con.
that is one of the biggest exposures and indictments of the world we live in.
Right.
Because he was the simp superhero from what I understand. I really don't know about him.
Nah,
I just heard that he's the simp superhero.
Emphatically. I'm talking about the way he caped for the the way they call it. So we gonna get into all the terminology.
All the terminology. We gotta unpack the terminology.
We gonna deal with the acronyms and stuff like that. They do, like the BW.
Okay.
Right? They just call the black woman the BW.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Or the succubus. Like they call it the succubus and stuff like that. But you see how like guys like him, right, which utilize their platform to really kind of appeal to women and really make women come with a certain level of entitlement. Like, so he did that, and then nevertheless he turns around and falls on his own sword.
Yeah, he contradicts his own message.
Exactly. So.
And that's a part of this whole thing, because what's happening is that he represented himself and he made talking points, because there's something that's an amazing word in the English language. It's called naive. Naive means close to Eve. Nigh unto Eve, near to Eve.
Right.
You're close to Eve. Eve was beguiled. Eve was usurped. You know what I'm saying? Eve was tricked.
Right.
And she fell for the trick. So Eve is always falling for a trick. So Derek Jackson was able to game y'all into putting him on a new level of popularity and giving him access to the type of women he always wanted. It really was like some evil genius type stuff.
Right.
Because take a look at the girl he's with now versus his wife.
Exactly.
Night and day.
Well, right. Quote unquote ex-wife.
Ex-wife,
right?
Yeah, whatever it is.
Right.
As far as aesthetically, night and day.
Exactly.
Which is, it's so nut because, and I spoke about this on class a few weeks ago. Like, it's crazy, and this is so many problems because, of course, polygyny is not being harped on enough in these situations.
Right.
And the important, like, guys are harping on, hypersexuality, having multiple female sex partners.
Right.
But they're not harping on polygyny and actually being in relationship with multiple women simultaneously.
Right.
That's, beneficial to all parties involved.
Right.
They're not talking about that. But it's like you get on and you put yourself in a position, and that woman that's been with you, you settled for her. So now that you in a new position and your options are open, she's yesterday's trash now.
Right.
And that's not fair.
Yeah. Disloyalty ain't the answer in this situation.
It's not.
Right.
You can still rock with that girl and have this other one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And love them and deal with them and be in relationship with them, because I can see if she did you wrong, if there was something that happened. But you can tell me this girl just been there for you the whole time, and as soon as you have access at something that is more physically attractive, you throw her out? How can we say that you, like, this whole concept of somebody ain't shit? How can you say that you're not shit if you do something like that? Right? It's crazy for me.
Yeah, and what it boiled down to is a person without integrity, right? When put in situations that test the integrity of that person, are going to show disintegrity, disingenuousness, and things of that nature, right? Those character flaws that he's always possessed throughout his life.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. They manifested themselves ultimately.
And people should have seen it, like, for women out there that are watching. Right. You got to watch the men out there who only appeal to you. Like, what I mean is all of their ideology, everything they pushing is only to appeal to women. Right. You should already be able to, but see, you nigh unto Eve. Exactly. So you can't even smell it. Exactly. That's just like these black women as God dudes. Yeah. All the champions of the black woman of God as God doctrine have totally transgressed and demonstrated that idea is not one that they truly espouse.
They don't really espouse it. Exactly.
You done scammed the black woman. Yeah. You done beat the black woman. Right. One of these dudes done shot at a dwelling in which a black woman and his child was in. Yep. Right? If y'all don't know, I ain't gonna say the name right now.
You misuse the black woman.
You misuse the black woman. But you say she's God. But when you do that, a certain segment of them becomes so googly-eyed and beguiled by that.
Right.
And you gotta watch it. He's only appealing to you because it's game.
Right.
You ain't paying attention.
Yeah, very low level game, mind you, right? Because the whole thing is, like we said, you know, you're just playing on her naivety, and that's really all it is.
Yeah.
Instead of being truthful, the best game that you can give a woman is showing her how you can actually make her better by being completely radically honest.
Man,
Right.
Radical.
Yeah.
Because you know what is being radically honest?
Yeah.
It's being a man.
Being a man.
And it's time to man up.
And exactly. You see what I'm saying?
You gotta be honest.
As a man, like you say, a lie is a foul blot in a man, man. That's what, let's just deal with that.
Read that. Bring that out.
All right. It's the book of Sirach, chapter. We're gonna start it. We're gonna chapter 20. We're gonna start at verse 22. Right? It says, and mind you, right, you have the option to either be bold, right, radical honesty that we deal with as a man. You say, what? You gotta gird yourself up, show yourself to be a man. They come with boldness, right, and not timidness. And timid, another synonym for being timid is what? Bashful. Right? Watch this.
Oh, yep, there you go.
Watch this.
I know where you going.
Right? This is the book of Sirach, chapter 20, verse 22. It says, there is that destroyeth his own soul through bashfulness.
Yeah, and that's what happens because you being so bashful, you don't want to say anything and you destroying yourself.
Right. And like you say, you give your strength over to her by the timid, the thought of hurting her to the extent where she will leave you, or sort of say you don't see yourself being able to acquire anything as good as this, sort of say aesthetically or whatever it may be, because if she leaves you over the truth, she's probably not that great of a woman anyways.
Yeah.
Right. But because you look at yourself at a level of, oh, I'm not that great either, right?
Yeah, they don't value themselves.
Exactly. You overthrow yourself by saying, you know what, I'ma just kind of like play the back and like let her win, and things and that'll never actually keep her.
Yeah, and you think it will.
Exactly, because when she see, like the powerful brother, gorgeous Andre Taylor said, you gotta protect the man. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And the thing is, if you don't protect the man, if you don't always demand a certain level of respect and show her uncompromisable, right? Then she, as soon as she sees that kink in your armor, that, oh, he will bend for me, she's going to exploit that.
Every time.
Right?
Every time.
And so what it says, there is that destroyeth his own soul through bashfulness. Just like that. It is better for you to never be timid. It's better for you to just be bold and show yourself a man. And if you ever did, have to go through a time of separation with her, right? Because she was never given the opportunity to look at you in a different light outside of what she met you as, right? You always have an opportunity to reconcile this situation, right? With the power, quote unquote, power dynamic in a relationship, what you would say, the relationship economy still intact.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Because it needs to be intact.
Exactly.
And when you lie, this is what happens with lies. You lie, you get caught in the lie, right? And then the power dynamic switches.
Exactly.
Because it's just like when you're a child and you are under the care of your parents and you do something wrong, now you're being punished. Now you got to be on your best behavior because you've been caught up in some BS. Right. But when but that's only because you lied because you're afraid of her like you were your parents.
Exactly.
So that's how the lie existing is you actually giving your power to the woman in that instance. And does that mean that you have to just spill your heart at all times? Of course not. But we're talking about purposely devising things that are not true in order to cover up truths or facts that you do not want her to know. Right. Right? Not ambiguity, not being vague. You outright concocting schemes and stories to cover your ass on things that you just don't want to be forthcoming about, which is just not masculine. It's just not manly. Right. And what's so sick is we live in a time where all of that stuff is exalted. I see the memes. Some of them are hilarious to me. Don't get it twisted. Some are funny. These toxic city boy, you know, hot boy, all that, all that stuff.
Right.
Some of the stuff is entertaining. And, you know, maybe when I was in high school, I may have practiced some of that. But when I became a man,
Right.
I put away childish things.
Right.
So I understand that that type of behavior is really BS and it's not conducive. Like I shared something today. I think it was off of Hoodville, and it was dude who had his girl name cut into his hair, and it said when tax season comes around.
Yeah.
And I said, what's sad is that's true. And I said, but you think you're a man after you did that.
Right.
That because this girl is getting a tax return, you deify her in order to get that little tax return money off of her for you to go blow on something stupid. That's not manhood. That behavior being normalized is overwhelmingly detrimental to our people, to our communities.
Right.
No, manhood need to be, I'm never going to get a tattoo of no damn broad. I'm going to tattoo anyway, but even if I wasn't in this truth, I'm not going to get no broad tattooed on me. Right. I'm not going to get her name etched into my head for any, let's make this clear, for any amount of money. That whole concept is crazy, but dudes will talk about this, how they driving their girls Altima around town and stuff like that. That's not cool. How is that cool? Being Jody, Jody was not a role model. Right. Right? That's baby boy. It was actually delving in. It was a symbol of a mentality that is plaguing a lot of brothers. And showing the problematic nature of it and showing that he didn't ascend, when he ascended past it, he actually achieved harmony and a family.
Exactly. Exactly. And so like that whole, and that's another topic in itself too. You know, we ain't gonna try to unpack too many things, but the whole idea of a woman being able to even look at you and call you a baby, call you a boy, right? Call you certain things that we know could affect the psychology and how she look at you, right? But watch this. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 9, verse 1, right? It says, be not jealous over the wife of thy bosom, and teach her not an evil lesson against thyself.
This is, that right there, that's such a word. It say, number one, be not jealous over the wife of thy bosom.
Right.
A lot, there is a scarcity of security amongst a lot of men today.
Right.
And that's not masculine. That's not manly. The scarcity of security and the sway of the fury of your jealousy exposes your insecurities to your woman. Then now she knows. So when you teach her that evil lesson against you, she now knows how to press your buttons perfectly.
Right.
Oh, she know. Oh, he don't. Boom, boom. If I do this, oh, so now I know if I really want to get a rise out of him, this is what I do. You're not an impenetrable force or wall.
Right.
You know, you're not a barrier. She done figured out how to press your buttons, bro. Because you have allowed her. You've shown your. I remember, and I'll never forget this. And it was from this moment forward in my life that I began to despise the displaying of weakness.
Right.
I was probably 7 years old in Taekwondo. I probably fell off my bike, skinned my elbow. I'm sparring with a teenager. Dude kicks me directly in my elbow where the scab is. I start crying. My Taekwondo instructor, old brother, Vietnam vet, he says, you never show your weakness. You never do that. This is 7 years old. And I know moving forward in my life, never show weakness.
Yeah, and like, that's really just let me backing off what was said as far as soon as she sees that kink in your armor, right? You have to walk around as though you're invincible, right? You're unshakable, you're unmovable, right? You in that square permanently, right? Feet nailed to the ground.
I'm fastened.
Right.
I'm fastened.
I'm fastened. Exactly. You know what I mean? And there's nothing that you can do to affect me. Because ultimately, if I look at myself as your head, I look at myself as someone who is in literally above you, sort of say, you know,
in functionality,
right? I'm supposed to be the superior vessel in this situation. how am I able to be so in such a high, it's supposed to be looked at in such a high regard as your Lord, but I'm affected by you in a way that I display insecurity and now I'm showing my human again. You know what I mean? Right? And so that means what? Being godly is being unshakable, being unmovable. As a man, you got to be unshakable.
Because the Most High don't move.
Right.
He not finna change no matter what anybody does.
Exactly.
Point blank, period. And this is it is how you gotta be, right? It get to a point sometime with my wives where they begin to question whether or not I have feelings or emotions.
Yeah. Her
because
calling
they don't
you,
get displayed.
yeah, her calling you a robot might be a good thing.
Yeah, it might be a good thing,
right?
Because it's that in which is conducive to a leader. You have to lead through adversity.
Exactly.
All of those things, you won't be able to do those things if you let everything affect you, or not even let everything affect you, but you display how everything affects you.
Exactly. Yeah. It's one thing to be affected, and it's another thing to actually show that affection, like or the affectedness.
Effective,
right?
Yeah, that you're hurt.
Exactly.
Now you're hurt by it.
Exactly.
Nah, man, power through that.
Right.
Because you're being sucked in, and this is what happens to men all the time. You're being sucked in to her game.
Exactly.
And I want to hip you up something about her game. You can't win.
You can't win.
That's her game.
Exactly.
She created an emotional, illogical, insane game that a man, because of the logic that we function with just on a base level, even because all brothers ain't logical, but we are logical at the core. At a base level, all men are logical. That base level logic that you function with, you can never play her game for real, let alone beat her
at it.
At her game.
Yeah, the only way you can beat her at her game is knowing it and not indulging in it.
We're not playing that game.
Yeah, I'm not even doing that.
We play my game.
Yeah. Exactly.
Where she can't win.
And unfortunately, that takes us to this, right? Unfortunately, the reason most men find themselves falling into playing her game and being, overly affected, showing that affectedness, right? Being movable is because y'all was raised by y'all mama.
Ooh, we gotta we. Now that right there, and this is what's so cold, because this is where the credence, when some men point the finger at women, and they point the finger back and go, well, your mama this.
Yeah.
And your mama, what you're saying about me is true of your mother.
Right.
And you can try to downplay that as a man, but the fact is, but that's true. If it is true, if the shoe fits, she did cut you.
Yeah, exactly.
You are cut.
Exactly. Your ass is grass.
Your ass is grass because that's who raised you, though.
Exactly.
It's not just that's who you came from.
Right.
If you're just mama raised,
you're right.
Then that is a dagger to you.
Yeah.
Because that's when we start getting to, and she's the mom and the dad. That bullshit.
Yep.
She played two roles. The fuck she didn't.
Yeah.
She is incapable.
No, she's incapable.
Of playing two roles.
She played very, what we can say, she played very hyper masculine mama, right? But nevertheless, she never played father.
She didn't achieve.
Right.
She didn't achieve hermaphrodite.
Right.
She didn't become a hermaphrodite.
Right. So as far as hyenas go, right, you find that hyenas are some of the most dysfunctional animals, right? And the reason being is because the female hyenas, end up, and we're gonna do some research on this.
Okay.
But the female hyenas, mind you, find themselves in the dominant role within the packs.
Okay, they're an animal like that. They're one of the animals that the female becomes dominant.
It's a matriarchal pack.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Very rare in the animal kingdom,
but it happens.
But it happens.
Yeah.
Hyenas being one of those instances where this happens, right? So the hyenas, right, because of their hyper masculinity, because of the position that they're put into, right? They find themselves
the position that they're put into.
right.
Interesting, you said.
They put it. Yeah, exactly. They like demean the men. The men play a lesser role. The women actually grow bigger than the males. The males are smaller. The males, their their privy parts, are smaller, and then the women actually have privy parts that end up growing out.
Wait, they grow dicks?
Yes. Yes, the women we can be frank about it. Yes, they grow dicks, bro. The women hyena grow dicks and they usurp authority over the male hyenas, bro. Yes. Now they don't actually, end up getting pregnant. They don't impregnate the males, obviously. But
It's not a complete metamorphosis.
but it's just the assertion of dominance.
Eh,
It's an action of assertion of dominance. Bro.
Okay, so I want to hit you with this, right? You said that, that's interesting,
Yeah.
right? So when I first got to the A, I went on a date, met a young lady, went on a date, right? And we had a very interesting conversation, me and her. And she was explaining that she hit me to a concept that I must agree exists, and it observably exists, right? What's the concept? That there must be a balance of masculine and feminine energy in a romantic relationship.
Right.
Case in point, there's this concept of who wears the pants, right? Like if somebody's in lesbian or gay couples,
Right.
that one of them is going to be more masculine,
Has to be.
and the other more even though they're
Right.
both the same gender.
Right.
That's typically how things work. This also exists, of course, in heterosexual relationships.
Exactly.
Right, but she was explaining, she said, the reason why a lot of couples are out of balance and a lot of things, she said, because men are being so feminine
Exactly.
that now this masculine thing is kind of taking over
The
in
woman.
certain women.
Right.
And now they're exuding this pseudo masculinity
Right.
to compensate
For the lack of
for the
masculinity,
lack of masculinity
coming out of the man.
And it's crazy.
Yep.
Man.
And this
And
is
she hit me with that and I said, damn.
that's exactly what's going. And that's why they have termed the black woman a hyena.
Because become the man.
She's become the man
Jesus
in the relationship,
Christ.
and it's because you men are not standing firm on manhood.
What like, let's be. I mean, I know there's a million and one scenarios we could reference.
Right.
Not in just in life, in however long we've been alive that we've seen.
Right.
Because I just from being a child, I recognize certain men. You got friends, you got people that, so you go to their house and you realize a dynamic that's not like the dynamic at your house. Right. You notice the dynamic here, it's not like my house. Right. My house go like this. These people's house go like this. These people's house go like that. So you start to realize different dynamics. Right. So I've noticed the men
And patterns of behavior.
Right. So there's one man that sticks out to me. Right. Which is the mild-mannered man. He works. He comes home. He doesn't say anything. He don't say much.
Right.
He watches football probably on Sundays, and that's about all he gets out of life.
Right.
It's football on Sundays.
Football on Sundays.
He's like the Isaiah 3. He become a servant.
Exactly.
He just serves the wife and kids, and that is the totality of his life.
Yeah.
I identified that very early on in life and said, yeah, I can't be him.
Can't be that.
I can't be him.
Can't be that.
He seems like he has things.
Real
he
talk.
has a great power tool set in the garage.
Right.
He's got a great home.
He has his toys.
He has his toy, and he has football on Sundays, and that's where his life ends.
Right.
On Sunday, right? But then you had
But that guy dies early.
that, of course, because what's bottled up inside of him.
Right.
And there's so much bottled up inside of him that I know
so much more. Yeah.
that's the type of guy that will drive himself, that will go crazy.
Yeah.
Because he has submitted himself fully and
Or become an alcoholic.
Or become alcoholic.
Yeah, real
And
talk.
in those type of households, there's an illusion that the man runs the household, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
But there's an illusion, like sometimes it'll be deferred, decisions will be deferred to dad sometimes. But really, mom's running the show.
And the fact that there is a deference to you sometimes proves that you don't run the household. Right?
We're deferring to you sometimes.
And the crazy part about it is women have already understood this while you were thinking of ways to try to, try to figure out what's going on, she already figured out what's going on, and you're playing into her game so much that she, you have those people who lead from the back, sort of say.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what she's doing. Like you said, there is an illusion that this guy is running the house, but in reality, she's making all the decisions. She just may have pushed you that way to make you say this, or she's like a ventriloquist, sort of say, in the situation, right? And there's a lot of women who have mastered this ventriloquism, right?
And a lot of them, they're trained, and women. The interesting thing about women is, as opposed to men, women pick up their skills that are gonna get them through life,
right,
very early.
Very early.
Very early. They're
much quicker than us.
Listen, they're figuring out how to control men.
Yeah.
At the earliest stage of development.
Because and I'm gonna tell you something, right? One of these episodes, we're gonna break down the powerful sister Sherazade Ali.
Oh yeah.
Right? In that book, The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman. Because in there, she explains just that. From a youth, these young ladies who you end up marrying, who you end up dating in high school, have already mastered the manipulation of her father, right? By watching her mother, seeing what is it that dad does when mom does this? What is it that
she's picking up on?
She's picking up on,
and you're
everything.
You could be her twin brother, and you're not picking up on.
You're in your room, not caring about mom and dad's relationship unless it gets physical. Everything else is okay. Yeah, I noticed that's going on, but that's trivial to me.
Exactly.
I could care less. I have other things. I'm more attentive to things related to physical, the physical existence, the physical plane. These little girls growing up to these teenage girls,
they picking up on.
They picking up on everything.
They're picking up on everything.
There's nothing she missed.
And the cold part about it is it's encouraged, it's exalted,
right?
Especially with the master of manipulation. This whole concept of you had a daughter, now she's got you wrapped around her finger, which is spoke at in the book of Sirach, dealing with being not overjoyed over your daughter and things like that. Don't let her just do, because that right there, that's what a lot of people. I have a daughter, and people go, "Oh, when you have a daughter, she's just gonna make you so weak. She's gonna change you." I love my daughter; she's amazing. But she can never manipulate.
No.
That's not happening. First off, she does a better job manipulating her mother, and it's funny because she was manipulating her mother a few months ago, and I'm just standing and looking at her, and I'm going, "You're letting her do this?" I said, "But see," I said, "Look at her." I said, "Look at her face. She's lying."
Right.
How do you know she's lying? Because when I lie, that's the face I make. When I was a kid and was lying my ass off, that's what I did.
Right.
So she can't do it to me. Because she done picked up too many of my genetics to where she just has all the tails that I have.
Exactly.
So now I know what you're doing. You can't do it to me.
Flat out.
I know you're full of shit. You see what I'm saying? But if you just, it's my daughter.
My pride and joy.
And now she's realizing that. Okay, when I get in the nigga face, she said, and this is the type of thing that'll make a girl go, I can't get it on nigga my age face and do it. I got a little bit older. And shoot up a little bit. I'm gonna be able to do him just like Pops. Boom. Got it.
And this is what's crazy, right? The dynamic of the household, man. The dynamic of the black household is crazy, bro.
That's what it all boiled down.
Because what she does, mind you, right? She's young, picking up on all these things passively, right? Then she gets to a certain age where she goes to ask Abba for something. Abba says no. She comes to Mama crying, and Mama says, "Don't worry about it." And now she watches Mama go manipulate Daddy into getting what she wanted for her, right? And now she takes that. She says, "Okay, what was the tactic that Mama used on Daddy to get me what I wanted?" Okay, cool. Now when I don't want to say too much out of the book, right? But when Mama wants something, she does certain things for Daddy. Oh, she perks herself up a little bit. She doesn't talk with the same tone. Okay, she does these very subtle changes just to make daddy look at her like, you know what? Yeah, you deserve it, right? You deserve. Yeah, go buy the purse. Go take her with you. Go have a girls' day, and she's picking up on all this and using it on you, and you have no clue because you think she's innocent because you think she's really God's gift to earth.
You 10 steps behind in the game.
Exactly.
You're 10 steps behind.
You're 10 years behind.
And think about this. This is why what's the typical story is in high school, middle school for some, typically either you know about 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, around in that window.
Right.
We're the open one. We're the naive one. Right. And then we get our first heartbreak. Yeah. Because she's 10 years ahead already. Yeah. She knew what to do to you. Right. Boom, 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 boom. You went and bought her the damn Valentine's. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You went, you get the homecoming dress. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You all the little stuff, and then she's like, all right. She's just done with you. Cool. And you're going. And then all of a sudden you turn to a savage. Straight monster. That's what you gotta get a punch in the gut to pick up all your players. Right. She's being bred like this.
Yeah, exactly. And she's not. The thing is, right? She's smart enough to realize, okay, now this is the outcome of dealing with a person that if I turn him into a savage, in too of a drastic manner, right? This is the outcome I get. Now she's gonna try the same mechanisms, the same maneuvers again, but a little more subtle, so that she can if the intention is to elongate the relationship, she's gonna be a little bit more subtle this time.
Exactly. Because I got to get a little bit more mileage.
And I'm gonna have now she's been told, okay, well this time you gotta remember, have your own bank account on the side. Right, for your escape
you don't forget about that with the escape plan,
and
the exit plan,
and she's figuring you out, right? But none of this would happen if you was raised by a man that has seen all this and actually cares enough about you and your upbringing and your future to say, nah, don't fall for this, don't fall for that, don't fall for that. But unfortunately, it takes for us to experience those heartbreaks, right, and become savage. And become savage, bro. You know what I mean?
Now I gotta go to somebody.
Or pops ain't around enough to give me some game.
Yeah.
Right? My uncle's simping, going out to the club, trying to buy women drinks and just, enjoy the things that they ain't get to enjoy because they was out working, busting their ass majority of their 20s in the time where they were supposed to be on the scene, learning stuff, about women, and it's just a whole bunch of gullibleness going on the men's side. Truthfully, it's ain't no balance in the men's side.
There's no balance on any level, and like it's just I ain't gonna lie, like for both genders, we at a place where it's like it's slim pickings across the board. Like it's slim pickings. Like there's not. It's we're both looking for diamonds and dirt. You know what I'm saying? And there's a few, but there's not an abundance.
Ain't abundance.
I hear horror stories both in the Israelite community and outside. Right. The cold part is happening in the Israelite community because people are coming in damaged. Right. They're coming in damaged from the world, and they haven't actually utilized the information to heal themselves and correct themselves and then get into a relationship after they figure these things out. Because I'm gonna tell you that even just now, especially where I am now, and this is, at approaching 15 years in learning, I'm at an amazing place right now as far as understanding relationships, choosing mates, etc., with two wives, and this third spot is gonna be hard to get. That's right. But it's not gonna be hard to get because I gotta ask my wife's approval. Right. It's gonna be hard to get because of how picky I've become. Yeah. How particular I've become. Exactly. Because I know that, man, it's so much BS out here. It's so many people who can put on a front, who can put on a facade. Right. It's so many things that seem good until they go bad. Exactly. That I gotta make the next move my best move as far as that goes, because I have a family dynamic that's already established that needn't be disrupted. Right. women, children, etc. It needn't be disrupted. I don't need a third one. You know what I'm saying? I am interested in obtaining one though. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's all the will of the Most High. But whoever that third spot goes to, is going to be a vetted. I'm going to have to make the right decision about that. But I'm more equipped now than I ever have been.
Exactly.
And I know now that I'm not looking past a goddamn thing. What do I mean by that?
Real talk.
Like I'm not. Here's what I'm gonna tell, and this works for men and women both.
Right.
Do not settle.
Exactly.
Don't settle.
Yeah. Why?
For what?
Yeah. Why? And the only
that's what
reason,
Derek Jackson did.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that's why he got out of there as soon as he had the opportunity. Because he settled.
He settled. Yeah. He didn't project his life to be what it became.
He didn't ever project to have action at that girl. And this the thing about the women too, like Ciroc says. A woman will accept any man.
Right.
What does that mean?
Right.
You can be Derek Jackson before he gets on YouTube. Right. That girl he's got would never talk to him. Right. The only thing that Derek Jackson's face doesn't look any different than it used to look. He's always been in shape, right? He's a brother that's in shape. That's not it. Women from the beginning of time are wired. I want to make you understand this. Are wired to look for status. This is why you can see a brother that's not attractive, that's morbidly obese, but is getting to a bag. Right. Have one of the better looking girls that you've ever seen. Because it ain't about none of that. It's about status. He's achieved a socioeconomic status. And then when we come into our realm and our world, the urban world, the black world, the Israelite world, the black and Hispanic world, our perception of status is different, right? Because you have some people who have conformed totally to the white supremacist status and they're looking like top floor office. And then, there's ghetto status, where it's like, he's in that car. Yeah, he has that many chains on. Right. He is walking around
pseudo
here
status
with water money this big. Yeah. In our minds, that's the same as the nigga in the office. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like that to a lot of women, that's the equivalent. She don't even want the suit and tie guy. I want that guy. To him, he's on the same level. Right. So they're looking. A lot of them are wired and programmed to look for status and to be truthful. Right. It's ingrained in their DNA on a survival. It's a survival.
Yeah, I'm finna show you something.
You say, okay, bring it out.
So another term, right? We're gonna be dropping all the terms. Mm-hmm. The term is hypergamy.
Hypergamy, exactly. Hypergamy.
Modern scientists, right, and sociologists have confirmed, right, and anthropologists, and all these different facets of academia have confirmed that this is something that is naturally occurring in, I would love to say all women, but I'm not going to do it. A vast majority of women. Right, we're going to do it like that.
Bring out the definition.
The term is hypergamy, right? The action of marrying or forming a sexual relationship with a person of a superior sociological or educational background.
That's simple. And like you said, it's naturally occurring. This is why where I've seen people throughout life kind of fault the behavior. Now, there is an imbalance in that behavior, right? Because then you have also something called gold digging, right? Where she literally is just in this situation for the purpose of getting the bag and getting out. Right. It has nothing to do with true emotional investment, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
That I wouldn't call that's some type of warped form of hypergamy. Right. But true hypergamy, like he said, is naturally occurring. Right. It's just in the nature of what's like there's certain things that are primal about human beings that needn't be ignored. Right. Like, for example, pregnant women are attractive to men in general, right? Very primally, very subconsciously. You might not understand, but she is literally doing the primal thing, the first commandment, further increasing our species. Right. She's being fruitful. Right. That's attractive.
Her ability to do that is attractive.
I know dudes who and girls who have been stripping. while pregnant, even before they began to really show. And they have said that they made more money while pregnant than when they weren't pregnant. Like there was something so just intoxicating about them to men, because even again on the promenade, there's certain pheromones and things like that that's drawing. And again, just before she's showing, so they don't know. Yeah. But there's something
it's coming out of pores.
It's coming out of her pores.
Coming
that's
out
when
of
they say the pregnant woman got the
bro.
glow.
Yeah.
So just giving you that example. Yeah. That's just a thing. Right. It's ingrained. It's written in us.
Right.
Like the women, the natural, because this is what kills me when people start, oh, the modern woman only wants a guy that's making this amount of money, boom, boom. Right. Well, it's like, I mean, you want to, this is where I be getting confused. Like, with certain talking points, it's like, okay, so what do you want? Yeah. So you want to be the leader. You want to be a protector. You want to be a provider. You say that's all the things men are. Right. But then when she wants that, now she's wrong. But wait.
Because you can't give that to her. Now she's wrong because you can't give it to her. Nah, that's not how it works, buddy.
It don't make sense.
Right? But the thing is, men are all wanting this certain caliber of woman, right? And women are wanting a certain caliber of man, but they're skipping all of the ones that are actually fit for them.
And that right there, that's my thing, and that's been my issue with the Manosphere from the time I encountered it, where I feel like it's just plagued with guys who want women that are out of their league.
Exactly.
And it's like, bro, you play AAA, my nigga. What's the team in Memphis? Right. The Memphis baseball team.
Oh, you talking about the Redbirds?
Yeah. You play for the Redbirds, bro. You don't play for the.
You don't play for the Cardinals. You don't play for the Cardinals, bro.
You don't play for the Cardinals,
right.
Play for the Redbirds, bro. Yeah, in that league, there's some competition. Jordan played in that league. Michael Jordan played in the same league as the Memphis Redbirds, right? But you're not playing next to POETIK though on the Cardinals. Yeah, you're not there. That's not the bras. Flat out. That that really be the problem. It'd be like, okay, so you can step to certain bras. You want to step to this broad, and you know she's a certain caliber of woman, right? And I want to make this clear that it's not even a look.
It ain't about looks at all.
It ain't about looks.
It ain't about looks, brother.
It ain't about looks because that's another key thing because
I wouldn't think about looks at all. You know what?
I'm always gonna harp on Banks though.
Hey, I just want y'all to know these alarms are for me waking up to go to the gym. Okay.
All right, because he cares about himself.
Let me cut these gym alarms out. So like,
you know, and what's cold is this, like, because I'm gonna always harp on the bank, the Wells Fargo, BOA, Banks. You could go to Banks, man, and see girls who naturally have the things that these girls are going to get surgically augmented, right? And these girls have careers, they got their stuff, and a lot of them are single. I've encountered so many amazingly beautiful single black women
at the bank
in Banks, Koof, you know, they're just whole total packages, flat out, right? So it's not a looks thing, but there is an aesthetic. There's sometimes a difference between a look and an aesthetic, right? Right. There's an aesthetic. There's this current urban aesthetic, let's say, right? Which is, you know, outrageous lashes, very long wigs, surgical augmentation oftentimes, or bodies that are naturally built like how the surgeries are going. Right. You know, a certain dress code. Right. You know, loud, and you know, it's actually the same aesthetic that's always existed. Right. I mean, when I was a kid, but it's just evolved. Right. It's upgraded. You know what I mean? As far as like it's 2.0,
yeah,
3.0.
It's everything's intensified now.
We're at like 10.0. Yeah. We're at like Ratchet 10.0.
Real talk.
And that's the aesthetic right now that a lot of people are looking for. Right. And that's cool, but you got to understand when you go for that aesthetic that they're being socially engineered by the city girls, Meg Thee Stallion. Right. So if you're not willing to play the game that's being taught, at least to some degree. Right. Number one, if you want that, you better be ready to play the game without complaint. Right. Number two, if you ain't ready to play the game, you need to get out of that ballpark. Yeah. You get out of that league.
Find somebody else, bro.
Get to a more, you know, a more humble league, a different behavior league. Right. But you know, you're hypnotized, you know, by God knows what, rap videos, I don't know, Instagram, I don't know. Right. And then you want something that you really ain't got no business having.
Yeah, and that comes from a person not really doing that what you would call shadow work, right? Not doing that self-evaluation. And you're not basing your life off of what you really want and the things that you know are good for you, right? You're basing it off of what other people already have and what you think is the life that you want to lead, right? And you're basing your life and your desires and the things that you want to attain off of something somebody else has done for themselves, man. And that was that guy's thing. Right, and he was in that league, and he has attained certain levels of what you would say success, quote unquote success, right? That gave him the ability to receive that type of attention from those type of women, right? But if you're not there, and really everybody, you don't even desire to be there. So like he said,
For real, you don't.
You don't want to be there, right? Because it actually, as cool as it looks, you know, it's still a headache.
And then like,
It's still a headache.
we live like I want y'all to understand something.
Right.
We live in a facade, bro.
Come.
We live in such a facade. Like, it's Hoodville. Hoodville is a great page. It's entertaining. Like, they'll do the post where it's like, this nigga just popped 10 bottles in the club. He took the IG model home. She gets there. It's an air mattress and like a couple Dior shirts.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like, that's him. He's rotating the 2-3 designer pieces he actually could obtain.
Right.
And because he's spending all his money in stunting and flashing,
right,
he actually doesn't have, when you get to his apartment, there's nothing
he
there.
don't got nothing there.
Yeah,
but it's PS5 and air match.
And air mattress. And,
Right.
it's not, and the cold thing is, it's a real life. Like, when Hassan used to work doing pest control, he's like, I done been in an apartment that has, this dude got a pile of designer clothes and nothing but an air mattress in the apartment. But it's an apartment in Buckhead, something stupid.
Right.
But he can't put no furniture in it.
He
Just got designer, and he can say that he
because
lives
he's
in this
living
building.
above his means, bro. And that's exactly what's going on. And it's all because y'all have the wrong inspirations. Right? Y'all not inspiring to be men of God. Y'all not inspiring to be stand-up men of the Lord. Y'all inspiring to be what, like we say, Pookie and Ray Ray in the Nissan Altima, like Hoodville say, in the girl Nissan Altima, you know, buying Henny in the club, pouring it in women's mouths, man. That's who you want to be.
That's
That's who you look up to.
It's like, how is that an aspiration?
Yeah. What are you doing?
How is that an aspiration?
Yeah.
How is that, like, okay, let's say you want to do that. You want to partake in that. How is that an aspiration though?
Yeah.
Like, okay, this is the goal.
Yeah. How is that to say I'll be all?
I want to be. This is who I want to. Okay, so who do you want to be past that though?
Right.
Like, what's after that?
Right.
What are we doing here? You know, when you get the girl,
right.
Then what?
Right.
Where are we taking her to? What do we offer her?
Exactly.
How are we going to enrich her?
Yeah, because it's one, like, and that's the thing, right? it's so crazy because there are things I did learn, right, from my time, like kind of studying the Manosphere, right?
Of course.
And they say, this is what they say, right? They say it's one thing to get the girl's interest,
Yeah.
right? You can get the girl's interest, right? But the interest is just the entry into her life, okay? You get the girl's interest rather. Now it's time to get her admiration. And that's a completely different ball game.
Totally.
So you can live a life, you can lead a life that may get the girl's interest, but how many girls can you get to actually admire you?
Man.
Right? And that's not that easy to do. Because hypergamy is real.
Hypergamy is real, and we're living in a time where, like, you know, we're here in Atlanta, Georgia, right? I'm out. I'm on the scene in Atlanta. These girls, it's hard to tell the men apart.
Right.
Right? And it's hard to tell the women apart too.
Yeah, facts.
But it's hard to tell, just going from the women's perspective, it's hard to tell the men apart. Everybody's wearing the same stuff.
Right.
Everybody's got jewelry. these hoes can't tell who got money for real, who don't got
Right.
money. They don't even know.
The fake jewelry looks real.
The fake jewelry looks real.
Okay.
Like I said, I told
It's
the story
a
the other day.
facade, man.
I had on some fake jewelry, and Nick came up to me and literally told me how hard my shit was hit. Like, your shit is hitting right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, this, I paid $300. It was a buy one, get one on these chains.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That was my white and yellow one I had. That was a buy one, get one on that. You know what I mean? Like, it's you know, but it's doing its job.
Right.
All praise to the Most High.
And shout out Moissanite.
You know, definitely, right? So it's hidden. So they don't know. They're looking like, girl, you got money.
Because the materials don't matter no way. All right? It ain't. The materials never mattered, man.
It's like, okay, here you are. You look like everybody else, right? And you're shooting your shot, right? Okay. I mean, everybody's shooting their shot.
Right.
If she's good looking, right? Everybody's shooting a shot. So what do? How do you set yourself apart?
That's it.
Well, you got to be set apart.
Exactly.
What the Most High told you to do to be set apart. I like to call it, you have to be an international man of mystery. An international man of mystery. Let's go to the Hebrew. There is such an amazing word in the Hebrew language, man. And big up to the brother who put me on to this word, Judah Nasser, you know who you are. So watch this, right? Watch this. Well, let's look up Prince in the lexicon, right?
Sure.
Short, not short though. There's another word for Prince. Watch this. Where the hell is it at? No, it ain't gonna come up as short. That's Prince. Ruler.
Okay.
Ruler. Right here. Strong's H4910 Mashal. Right? It means to rule, to have dominion, to reign, to rule, to have dominion, to cause to rule, to exercise dominion. It's translated as rule, ruler, reign, dominion, governor, ruled over, power, indeed. Right? So this is power. This word, power, rule, reign, dominion, all that.
Mashal.
Right? Mashal. But we got to take it back, right? So let's go to H4909. Let's just play around a little bit. H4909. Oh, no, I got to go past that. H4910. That's what I just did, right? Boom, okay. 49 level. H49. 11. Also my shaw. Right? So it also says to represent, liken, be like, liken, to compare, to become like. Look at this. To speak in a proverb, to use a proverb, to speak in parables, to speak in sentences of poetry. So a ruler is a parable. You got to be a parable. You not only speak in parable, you not only speak in wise words, you yourself are a wise word. And that's how you're going to have dominion. And you seek to have dominion over this woman to obtain her. So if you want to obtain her, you got to be a parable.
Right.
You got to be a dark sentence.
Right.
You got to be not just intrigued.
Not so easily figured out, man.
And she's got to be on a quest to figure you out.
Right. For the entire relationship.
For the entirety of the relationship.
You can never stop this. This is your game. Right? She has hers. This is yours. Be a mystery. Nah, that's...
Bro, be a mystery. Be a mystery. And she's Velma.
Yeah.
Right? She's Daphne.
Yeah,
she wants to solve the damn mystery.
God.
But she can't solve the mystery. That's what it's got to be. And just when she thinks, just like a good movie or show, just when you think you figured out,
plot twist.
You realize that there's so much more
Yeah.
that you don't like. I remember Lost. You ever seen Lost? The show Lost?
Yeah.
Lost is so cold because they're on the island. They're like, what's going on?
Yeah, exactly.
And then I remember when they find the hatch and they realize and then that light in the hatch comes on. So there's somebody down there. So we think we're on the desert island, but here we have a hatch on this island and you can open up that somebody's in.
Yeah.
Then they open up the hatch and there's an entire apartment down there. And they're going, what? But then they find out who put it there and that it's a part of a series of other like structures all over the island that are made for a specific purpose. Then they find out that the purpose of this is to keep the magnetic pull of the earth in line. Like, just when you thought you knew what was going on, it just gets deeper and deeper. You got to be that deep blue sea out here, man. That's what you got to be. As soon as she thinks she got you figured out, there's so much more to you. There's so much, you know, and it's, and she's just gonna sit there. And what you're going to be able to do when you do that is just have her sit there in awe of you throughout. You can do this every night. She can just sit there and look at you like, oh my, and she just wants to hear you talk, and she just wants to know more about you, and she wants to dig in. But once you allow her to figure you out totally, now you know what happens. You're not a Mashal. You're not dominion. She's got dominion, and when she gets dominion, either because she's a psychopath, she's either gonna maintain the dominion. That's what a psycho woman would do. Because she realized, okay, I can just control him forever. But the typical thing a woman's gonna do when she gets dominion is get the fuck away from you. Okay, I conquered him. Next, I'm going.
She gonna milk you first. She gonna get what she can because that's her hypergamous nature. She gonna get as much as she can out of you. She gonna find a replacement, and you're going to be replaced.
Look at this. Another, as we continue on in the word mashal, proverb, parable, proverb, proverbial saying, aphorism, byword, similitude, parable, poem, sentence of ethical wisdom, ethical maxims, right? All there. This is what you gotta be, all right? Or you gonna get used, nigga, and abused around here, right? And this puts you where you need to be in the power position. This puts you where you need to be in dominion, right? And that's all we want for all of our brothers.
Watch this.
Is dominion. Go ahead, bring it out.
Watch this. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 13, verse 26. Right? A cheerful countenance is a token of a heart that is in prosperity. Right? When your heart is your mind, mind you. Right? So a mind that is in prosperity, it shows off within a cheerful countenance. Right? And the finding out of parables is a wearisome labor of the mind. You have to be a wearisome labor on her mind. You trying to figure out, gotta be as hard as possible for her, bro.
She's gotta be thinking about you.
Yeah,
there has to be. You have to be
like, she has to be fixated on you. Like what is it about it? And she has to not understand what it is. That's the crazy part. Like, she knows what it is without knowing what it is. She knows what it is.
And this is the thing, like, to the audience. So myself and Isaiah, we got a cheat code for this, right?
Good.
And I'm gonna give y'all the cheat code. We don't drink.
Right,
because we have vows of the Nazarite.
Good.
So there is something so fascinating when we are in environments where alcohol is the primary thing being served.
Right.
And a woman can go, well, you ain't drinking?
Nah,
or you like the DD tonight or something? Nah, I'm not the designated driver. I don't do that.
Right.
That right there.
In itself.
I'm going to give y'all a cheat code. That right there in itself is fascinating.
Yeah.
But we're all doing it here.
Yeah.
How can you be here? Yeah. How are you enjoying this and you're not like us?
And not only don't we drink, we also don't partake in the cannabis.
Yeah, in the cannabis.
Which
is all of us.
Lord willing. Right? The hookah.
Yeah.
All of the things that most people desire, and the primary reason they're at most of the functions, the venues that we at, we don't do it.
So now it's like,
we're enjoying the brother.
Like, what are y'all like? I've been asked so many times, like, so what do you do?
What do you do? Like, that's to like, say I'll be
a vice.
Exactly.
There just has to be some vice.
Exactly.
Nah.
and the beauty of it, right? So you have the lack of vices, right? The lack of giving in to certain pleasures and desires, and that gives you one up on her because now she looks at herself as, damn, well, am I weak,
bro? And let me tell you something. I love so much to meet a lady, meet a girl, meet a woman, a young lady, and be talking to her, and have her start doing that.
Right.
Not in a demeaning way, but in a because when she does, that's letting me know that she wants better.
She
for
wants
herself.
better. Exactly.
She wants better, and I am a beacon of betterment.
Exactly. And that, now, and look, be a mystery, but always feed her. Always feed her, right? But the crazy part is you can feed women like you say, making wise the simple, right?
Making wise.
Making wise. If you're actually a man of wisdom, you're a man of the Lord, and we go into all the deepnesses of the scriptures and the dark sayings and the parables and stuff like that. It's not hard to find the simple things, feed it to her, and because she isn't privy to any of even the simple things, you can blow her mind and raise her up in just the milk, right, of life. Not just the scriptures, but the milk of life, which is obviously found in the scriptures, right? But you can do that, and now you're literally that beacon, like you said, you're that beacon of light in her life. That there's never been an opportunity that was met for you to help her advance, and she came to you seeking advancement that you couldn't deliver. Right.
That's it.
On some humbug stuff though. What's crazy, right? You gotta be, but that comes with actually being a man.
Everybody who you give advancement to, every woman who you give advancement does not necessarily have to be one that you're dealing with. Right. You don't understand how great if she can always come to you for advancement, what she can do for you. Right. As far as introducing you to somebody, speaking highly of you, even, I mean, there's so many things, because a woman well instructed, man, and a woman with the right head on the shoulders is the most valuable resource that you can have, even if she's not yours in the sense of romantic, even if she's just a friend, a sister, an associate, somebody you do business with. She can be resourceful in ways that men cannot be. She can penetrate circles that men cannot penetrate.
Exactly.
She can play stupid and extract intel. There's so many things a woman can do. So you gotta be there to better her. And then you're paying it forward even. And then see how you reap it.
Yeah. And like the scriptures say, man, I did not seek learning for myself, but for all them that actually are seeking learning. Right? We didn't get this wisdom, we didn't get this game just for ourselves. We got this game to hoard it. You know what I mean?
That's why this podcast exists now.
Exactly,
because we see where we can be helpful.
Exactly.
To people.
And so that's what it's about. And it's not just for the men. It's just not a one-sided thing
at all.
You see what I'm saying? It's called Manosphere Monday, but you know, women have the opportunity to watch this and learn how they could actually be an assistance to their husband,
a help, right? A true help,
because this is something that can be utilized to equip the woman to understand her role and see the errors in this, the formula that society has put within our relationships, right? And now she can say, okay, well, damn, I see why I need to stop being like that. Because this does affect, the dynamic of my relationship.
Adversity.
You know what I mean? Adversity, exactly.
Overwhelmingly adversity.
You know what I mean? And so this is what it's about, right? And if we can't get this, then and if we can't be right, like you say, right, wisdom is transferred through the tongue, right? So we have to relay this information. That the whole thing is being able to relay this information to both genders, right? So by doing such, we all grow, right? And that's the goal, is for the whole nation to grow.
Growth.
You understand?
Growth is so important, and we got to help people grow. And
it got to be you.
We're doing. We're help. Right. We want to help because there's very problematic mentalities that are, juxtaposed to growth,
right?
Inhibiting growth that are existing in men and women. And something just hit me for another episode. I ain't gonna spoil it now. I'm gonna talk to him after. But there's so many things that are stunting our growth right now. So many problematic ideologies and talking points that are being consistently reiterated ad nauseum.
Right.
They gotta stop. Right. But it's like I could sit back. We could sit back and keep letting them go on and saying, man, that stuff got to stop, but not doing anything about it. Or we could come and be the voice of reason,
Right.
which we want to be the voice of reason.
Come
We
on.
want to help impart the information through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai into
Right.
people's minds that, you know, become the changes
Exactly.
that is needed to, you know, start to counteract these negative statistics.
Right.
Because that's what we have to do. We can't just watch things spiral
Exactly.
out of control. We got to try to stop it.
Right. And it's so crazy because since hearing Proverbs 24 and 30, yesterday, and almost every conversation that's been had, every talking point ends up leading to the application of their scripture, right? Where the slothful man's field, right? But through his slothfulness, right, his vineyard and his field, right, becomes uninhabitable. Let's just read it, man.
Yeah, let's get it.
Let's just read it.
Let's just read
It becomes in out of usage. There's no use for it. So if we not utilizing this information and relaying it and being able to be the voice of reason, being the beacon of light, right? If we're not doing those things and we just sit back and just watch everything decay, what do we leave our kids? Right?
It's scary, bro. If you think about the next generation having to live in what's the advancement of what's going on now, how this thing is just deteriorating the way it is.
Right.
It's like, well, who are our kids going to deal with? What are they going to be faced with? Because it's hard enough right now for us. What is the next generation going to bring? And we got sense.
I would say these people right now, this group of people, this peer group from 25 to 35 right now, 25 to around 36, really probably the best hope.
Straight up.
For our community.
Straight up.
And the clear best hope for our community since a long time, right? And we having kids now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
and
mean?
being father.
And actually being fathers. So
real though.
It's like if we don't go ahead and make the proper efforts, put forth our best foot forward, it's a shit show from her.
Yeah.
All right, it's a shit show.
It's the worst kind too.
Right, watch this. Proverbs 24 and 30. We're gonna read through 32. It says, "I went by the field of the slothful, and by the vineyard of the man void of understanding." And right, we're the vineyard of the Lord. Right, we're actually the field of the Lord. Right, and it says, "And lo, it was all grown over with thorns." Right, now us as a whole is the vineyard, but he put husbandmen over which all men of Israel, all men in our community are actually supposed to be responsible for being the husbandman of these fields and
keeping
vineyards.
That field.
For keeping that field, keeping that
field.
vineyard going, man. Right? But if you become slothful, right? It says when you see the field of the slothful, right? These generations prior to us became slothful within their responsibilities, right? And now we have the situation we in now, right? And we can't do this same thing again. We can't look at the field of the slothful. Right now, we're literally living within the field of the slothful, the vineyard of the slothful.
Ran over, ran down, unkempt. Wild ass vineyard.
And lo, it was all grown over with thorns. And that's the situation. Now all we got is thorns in our sides and nettles, right? That has covered the face thereof. And the stone wall thereof was broken down, right? The hedge, which the main protection that we had against white supremacy was the black family, right? That wall is broken down now.
There's no family.
It's no family.
And this is the thing about, let's go back to the Manosphere, is where is the black family?
Exactly.
Where is the prioritization of the existence and the protecting of the black family, the preservation of the sanctity of the black family?
Right.
Does that exist? Is that a talking point?
Right.
No, it's here's what you should do in dating.
Yeah.
You should have this mentality going dating. You should know that, you know, the average girl that you're going to encounter is going to have a mentality like this. So, you know, this is what you do, and just fuck her and just, you know, fuck her homegirl.
Get your numbers up.
You know, get your numbers up, get your notches in your belt, and then that's it.
Right.
or you know, better yourself. Go and earn money, obtain a few assets,
Right.
put yourself in the driver's seat, and optimize the amount of pussy you can get.
Right.
But how does that help our people at all?
Right.
That helps particular individuals up their pussy intake, which they previously couldn't, because you know they just were losers. You know what I'm saying? Like
frankly,
is that the goal?
Frankly,
that's the goal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's crazy.
The ability to acquire a piece of pussy, bro.
You know,
and if that's your motivation, man, you a low level nigga anyways.
Yeah, like
it's okay to like women. It's okay to love women. Actually,
boom,
right? We love nothing. They always say the beauty of a woman chair the couch is a man love nothing more.
Nothing more.
But brother, that should not be your sole motivation for self improvement.
The same book also tells you desire her not for pleasure.
Exactly.
Stumble not at her beauty and desire her not for pleasure. That's the thing, like, because when you move like that, it's funny. I shared something today on my story. I'm a quote it verbatim. When you look at my story, it's right here. Don't be a slave to your sexual desires, my nigga.
My nigga.
Don't do, and that's what you become, and that actually doesn't help you do anything but get a nut and possibly venereal disease, right? So, and possibly unwanted children.
I was just about to say that. Damn, and
now you got a baby monster.
You got a orgasm you couldn't hold back walking around the house, bro.
You see what I'm saying?
That's all it is.
You see what I'm saying? And then the whole dynamic is fucked up. And then now that child is coming up. It's so like, oh my God, man. We just gotta just be so much better. Like, trust me. Listen, I'm gonna say this, man up Monday. Pussy is amazing. Yeah. Let's be real. Good. But that don't mean you gotta fall into every one. A lot of this motivation too is other men. Right. Cause you wanna just be able to brag on your numbers to the next man, because when we were kids, we thought that's what made a man. Yeah, man. The amount of pussy he can get. Yeah, exactly. That's a real juvenile mentality. Yeah, bro.
And you already know I'm finna go with it, right? There is a saying, right? You think being a man is how much pussy you can get, but in reality, you think the value of a man comes from how much pussy you can get, but the true value of a man is how much pussy is offered and you turn it down.
That's a word.
Right?
That's a word.
When you can have pussy offered to you, but you value yourself enough to say, you know what, that's low hanging fruit.
I'm cool.
That's not, I'm worth more than that. And you can, pick and choose, and you okay, cool, and you go according to your likings, but it's not solely off letting the pretty in her prosper.
Yeah. Right. And I started realizing that early on in coming into the knowledge. I would land with this woman, bro. I'm probably 18, and and here's the cold part about it. Her the pussy was fire. I'm gonna just be real. It wasn't nothing short of fire. But I was looking down at this woman while I'm, doing my thing. Right. I look down at her. I look at the reactions her body is giving to this situation. She's enjoying this. This is very enjoyable to her. Right. And I'm just thinking in my life, I'm just thinking in that moment that who I am and how I feel about her, she doesn't deserve this, right?
What I'm giving, man.
What I'm giving her, she doesn't deserve it, because I'm not even feeling you like that. Yeah. I literally just got out, bro. Yeah. I'm like, that's when I really start to realize and take my value serious. And so what am I doing?
Yeah, exactly, bro.
Why am I just giving myself?
And that's when you become a man.
In that moment, bro.
That's when you become a man.
It was through really learning this truth and learning these scriptures, because that's around the time when this word started coming to my mind, exclusivity. Right. So this is a part of being an international man of mystery, because now you coming into a social sphere,
right,
and all these hoes ain't had you.
yeah,
Now they're intrigued, yo.
right.
What is it about? Yo, bitches ain't had him, now I want him. That's the new guy effect. You're the new kid at school. You came from another school. Bitches on your dick because ain't nobody had you around this motherfucker yet. They don't. Somebody's had you, but they don't know who it is. So to them, they want to be the ones who get it first.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's a whole concept in and of itself.
Nah, it is.
But you know, man, these niggas, they not listening. They not even. Are y'all listening?
Y'all listening, man?
Because we just jewelry. It's jewelry.
Yeah. Flat out, man. Right, precious stones.
Precious stones.
Precious stones dropping everywhere.
Let's wrap up.
God.
We gon'
let's finish this off.
Go finish that.
Yeah.
There's a lot more coming. Go ahead.
Verse 32, it said, "Then I saw and considered it well. I looked upon it and received instruction."
You look at that. You should be able to learn from observing how this thing is destroyed. That laziness, slothfulness did not prosper that thing, man.
I'm gonna be honest. That's something that needs to come out so much more, man.
A lot of these scriptures, we got to start
honing in on.
And we got to start repetitiously bringing out.
Yeah.
Because there's a million scriptures that's already done that everybody got etched into their mind.
Bruh.
We got to do it with that one. Do it with these wisdom ones.
I'll be honest.
Because now we're going to expand wisdom.
Because, that's tough, bro. The Black, Hispanic, and Native American household, right, is a field that has been profusely unkept, right? and it's not because of the lack of ability. It is not because of the lack of people that to tend to it, right? Laborers to tend to it.
Definitely ain't neither of those things.
It's neither of those things.
Straight up.
It's because you niggas are being sloths. That's it. That's all it boils down to.
And selfish.
And selfish as hell.
Selfish sloths.
Selfish sloth. Folding your arms and consuming your own flesh. Right? And now it's time to look at the mess we in and gain the instructions, man.
Just look and say, okay, what? And that's also one of the issues I have with the whole Manosphere thing is it's like,
y'all see the issues.
What got us? It's not, okay, this is how it is. Okay, but what got us here?
Right.
Because if we can study what got us here,
right,
maybe we can reverse this, fix this, prevent this moving forward, do better for the upcoming generation.
Right.
If we simply observe what got us here. What are the problems?
Right.
Those things aren't being observed. Again, guys are just being instructed on how to optimize the amount of pussy they get.
Yeah.
Because we're still thinking like kids going, and what do we used to tell each other in high school? Man, you don't get no pussy.
Right.
And that just disqualified you from validity at all.
Right.
The fact that I said that you don't get no pussy.
Right.
Even if you do get it. I just said it. Now you're offended. Now now I've slighted you. You say it to me. Now I'm slighted. Oh, who don't get no pussy?
It's a contest.
Who don't got no bitches? We gonna catch the fade. Remember that Welvin?
Right.
That brother was mentally, disabled. He had a mental disability, and all he could comprehend is if somebody insinuated that he didn't have bitches, that he would fight them when he clearly didn't have no bitches. Yeah. Until of course he got popularity, then bitches was kissing him on the mouth and things like that. We seen that was going on, but. The fact that he took it that seriously and he had the mental disability that he had, it should show you the mental disability that goes with that. And of course not just like hypergamy is a natural occurring thing in women, right? Women being status symbols, trophies, if you will.
Right.
That's a naturally occurring thing in men as well. So let's not act like the obtaining and maintaining of women that are mutually viewed as attractive doesn't do something for men. Let's not act like that's not a thing. So that's kind of where the root of that you don't get no bitches or you don't get no pussy thing come from.
Right.
But it's like so many things, it's like gold digging. It gets distorted. It gets away from what it is, what it's actually about innately. It turned into something else. And that's a problem.
Right.
Definitely. But we're gonna wrap things up again. Look for much more of this, man. Man Up Monday. We're coming at y'all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, ministering this information, this wisdom that we have obtained over the course of our lives. You may see other contributors as well, but definitely familiarize yourselves with these faces because we coming at you, man. All praise to the Most High. Shalom.
All praise. Shalom.